morning, students. Chapter 3, Reproductive Health. In the last class, we have discussed about the birth control methods. So, the birth control methods are of two types. One is temporary and the another one is permanent. The temporary is of two types. One is natural method and the another one is barrier method. We have already discussed about the natural method. That is the different types of natural method in the previous class. So, the different types of natural methods are periodic absistence, continuous absistence, coitus interruptus, lactational amenorrhea. And today's class we are going to discuss about the barrier method. So, it is also one of the temporary method. So, in this barrier method, the meeting of ovum and sperms are prevented so that fertilization does not occur. So, mainly in the barrier method, the meeting of the sperm and the ova are prevented so that there is no chance of fertilization. So, we will see the barrier method one by one. First one is the chemical barrier. In chemical barrier, that is forming tablets, melting suppositors, jellies and creams are used as chemical agents that inactivate the sperms in the vagina. So, in this method, the chemicals are used as barrier. So, the chemicals are available in the form of tablets, that is forming tablets, melting suppositors, jellies and creams. So, chemicals are available in the form of tablets, jellies and creams, and this will inactivate the sperms. So, inactivate means the sperm cannot able to move. That is, it arrests the motility of the sperms. So, the sperm cannot swim and reach through the uterus and reach the fallopian tube. So, mainly these chemicals inactivate the sperms from moving. So, they inactivate the sperms in the vagina itself so that the sperms cannot able to freely swim and reach the fallopian tube. So, this is called as chemical barriers. And they are mainly kept in the vagina. That is, these tablets, forming tablets means the tablet will give foam. And melting suppositors means these tablets when kept at the vagina, it starts melting. And jellies and creams. So, these are all kept in the vagina which will inactivate the sperm. Next, we will see about the mechanical barrier. So, mechanical barrier example, condoms. Condoms are thin sheet which is used to cover the penis in case of male, whereas in female it is used to cover the vagina and cervix just before the sexual intercourse as to prevent the entry of the ejaculated semen into the female reproductive tract. So, condoms are available for both male and female. So, it is a thin sheet which covers the male penis, and in female it covers the vagina and the cervix, and it is just used before the sexual intercourse. So, what is the main purpose of this condom? It will prevent the entry of the ejaculated semen into the female reproductive tract. So, this will mainly prevent the pregnancy. The condoms are also should be discarded. It should be disposed after a single use. And it not only prevents, that is, the condom not only prevents the pregnancy, it also will prevent the user from sexually transmitted disease such as AIDS. And it is made up of polyurethane, latex and lambskin. So, the condoms are made up of polyurethane, latex and lambskin. So, it is a mechanical barrier. So, condoms are mechanical barriers. Next, we will see about the condoms of the female. So, diaphragms, cervical caps and walls. They are the condoms used by females. They are made up of rubber and are inserted into the female reproductive tract. So these cervical caps, diaphragms and walls are made up of rubber and they are inserted into the vagina to cover the cervix before coitus. So these diaphragm, cervical caps and walls is inserted into the vagina and it will cover the cervix. So these are inserted before the sexual intercourse in the female reproductive tract, and this will prevent the sperms from entering into the uterus. So these are for females. Next we will see about the hormonal barrier. So what do you mean by hormonal barrier? Means here the hormones acts as a barrier to prevent the pregnancy. So it prevents the ovaries from releasing the ova. So the hormonal barrier prevents the ovaries from releasing the ova, and it also thickens the cervical fluid which keeps the sperms away from the ovum. So mainly this hormonal barrier, they will prevent the ovaries from releasing the ova, and also it thickens the cervical fluid. So when the cervical fluid, the cervix releases mucus. If the mucus is released more, means it will be in a thick form. So in the thick fluid, the sperms cannot able to move freely and reaches the fallopian tube. So we'll see the examples of hormonal barrier, that is oral contraceptives. So contraceptives are available in the form of tablet, that is called as the oral contraceptives. Pills are used to prevent the ovulation by inhibiting the secretion of FSH and LH hormones. So these tablets, they mainly prevent the ovulation process and they also stop the secretion of the FSH hormone and LH hormone. These two hormones are responsible for ovulation. So these pills mainly prevent the ovulation by stopping or inhibiting the secretion of the FSH and LH hormone, so that there is no chance of ovulation. A combined pill is the most commonly used birth control pill. So this pill is a combined pill which contains the synthetic hormone progesterone and the hormone estrogen. So this pill mainly contains two hormones. One is progesterone and another one is estrogen. Why they are called as synthetic? Means they are artificially prepared. And the best contraceptive pill is the Shahili. It is prepared by the Central Drug Research Institute, that is CDRI. So it is the most popular tablet, that is Shahili. It is prepared by the Central Drug Research Institute in Lucknow. So this hormone, it contains a non-steroidal preparation called as Sencroman. So this tablet, so usually steroid will, that is the tablets containing steroid will cause some side effects, but this tablet does not contain steroid. So they are non-steroidal preparation called as Sencroman. Next we'll see about the intrauterine devices. So the name itself, intrauterine devices, means these devices are kept in the uterus. So they are inserted into the uterus. So they are inserted by the medical experts in the uterus through the vagina. So this intrauterine devices, so these devices will prevent the pregnancy. They are mainly inserted into the uterus by the doctors. So these cannot used by the, that is, person directly. It should be inserted only by the doctors in the uterus through the vagina. So these devices are available as copper releasing IUDs. There are different types of IUDs: copper releasing IUDs, hormone releasing IUDs, and non-medicated IUDs. That is, IUD means intrauterine devices. So these devices are inserted into the uterus. So there are different devices such as copper releasing IUDs, hormone releasing IUDs, and non-medicated IUDs. So what is the main role of IUDs means these IUDs, they increase phagocytosis of sperm within the uterus. So these IUDs, they release some, that is, substance, and these substances will engulf the sperm within the uterus. So mainly the role of IUDs is to increase phagocytosis. Phagocytosis means engulfing of cells. So here it engulfs the sperms and destroys within the uterus. IUDs are the ideal contraceptives for a female who want to delay pregnancy. So it is one of the ideal contraceptives. So it is the best contraceptive when compared to other contraceptives. It is one of the popular method of contraception in India and has a success rate of 95 to 99%. So the success rate of these IUDs is 95 to 99%, and it is one of the best and popular method of contraceptive, because in other cases the success rate is less, that is, it is up to 80 to 85%, but in case of intrauterine devices the success rate is 95 to 99%, that is, it completely prevents the pregnancy. So it is called as one of the best contraceptive. Next we will see about the copper releasing IUDs. So one of the IUDs are the copper releasing IUDs. So the name itself, it says that it releases the copper or copper salt. So copper releasing IUDs differ from each other by the amount of copper. So there are, in copper releasing IUDs also, there are different types of copper releasing IUDs. So how they differ means in the amount of copper. So the different types of copper IUDs are CU-T380A, Nova-T, CU7, CU380, AG, Multilode 375, etc. So these are the different types of, that is, copper releasing IUDs. So all these release copper, but the amount of copper released is different. So they release the free copper and copper salts into the uterus and suppresses the sperm motility. So what is the role of this copper releasing IUDs means? They release copper and copper salts into the uterus, and it will suppresses the sperm motility. That means it stops or it suppresses the sperm motility. They can remain in the uterus for 5 to 10 years. So these IUDs can remain, when it is inserted by the medical doctors, it can remain in the uterus for 5 to 10 years. But every year the person has to go for regular checkup whether these IUDs are in the normal position. So these IUDs are mainly inserted into the uterus. They release the copper and copper salts. So this copper and copper salts, it will suppress the sperm motility. So the sperms cannot able to pass through the uterus and reach the fallopian tube. Next is the hormone releasing IUDs. So the name itself, hormone releasing IUDs. These IUDs, these devices will release the hormone which prevents the pregnancy. So hormone releasing IUDs such as progesterone and LNG20. So these are called as intrauterine systems. They increase the viscosity of the cervical mucus. So these hormones will increase the viscosity of the cervical mucus. That is, the cervical mucus will become more thick and thereby prevent the sperms from entering into the cervix. So these are hormone releasing IUDs. So example, progesterone and LNG20. They are often called as intrauterine systems. So what is their main role means? They increase the thickness of the cervical mucus so that the sperm cannot able to freely enter into the cervix. Next we'll see about the non-medicated IUDs. So why the name non-medicated IUDs means these IUDs do not release any substances like hormones. So they are called as non-medicated IUDs. They are made up of plastic and stainless steel. Lippes loop is a double S-shaped plastic device. So the example for non-medicated IUDs is Lippes loop. It is a double S-shaped plastic device. So it also mainly prevents the pregnancy, but it does not release any hormones or chemicals. So the name non-medicated IUDs. Next we'll see about the permanent birth control methods. So what is the difference between temporary birth control methods and permanent birth control methods? So temporary birth control methods, it prevents the pregnancy for a particular period of time. So it is used by the couples who want to postpone the pregnancy. For example, if they want a gap between the first child and the second child, they can go for the temporary birth control methods. And the permanent birth control methods is for couples who don't want any more children, because already they will be having 2 or more children. So they don't want any more children. So for those people, the permanent birth control methods are suitable. So they are adapted by the individuals who do not want to have any more children. So under the permanent birth control methods, surgical sterilization methods. So permanent birth control methods are possible only by surgery. So surgical sterilization methods are the permanent contraception methods advised for male and female partners to prevent any more pregnancies. So this permanent birth control method is possible only by surgery, and this surgery is also applicable for both male and female. So it blocks the transport of the gametes and prevents the conception. So mainly through this surgery, this permanent birth control methods are possible, and how it works means it blocks the transport of the gametes to prevent the conception or pregnancy. So the name of the that is permanent birth control method in female is tubectomy. So tubectomy means it is the permanent birth control method in female. In tubectomy, it is the surgical sterilization in women. So tubectomy means it is the surgical sterilization in women. In this procedure, a small portion of both fallopian tubes are cut and tied up through a small incision in the abdomen or through vagina. So how this surgery is performed means, in tubectomy, that is, it is the surgical sterilization in women. Here a pair of fallopian tube is there, no? In that, a small portion of both fallopian tubes are cut and tied. So how this surgery is done means, it is the incision is made through the abdomen or through the vagina. So in tubectomy, both the fallopian tubes are cut and tied, so that the ovum which is released by the ovary cannot reach the fallopian tube. It prevents fertilization as well as the entry of egg into the uterus. So this is called as tubectomy. Next is the vasectomy. So vasectomy is the surgical procedure for male sterilization. So in male we have seen vas deferens are one of the parts in the male reproductive system. So in this procedure, both vas deferens are cut and tied through a small incision on the scrotum to prevent the entry of sperms into the urethra. So in case of male, the vas deferens are cut and tied. So how it is, this operation or surgery is performed means by a small incision, a small cut which is made on the scrotum. So this will prevent the entry of sperms into the urethra. So by this vasectomy, the sperms cannot be transported into the urethra. So vasectomy prevents sperm from heading off to penis as the discharge has no sperms in it. So by cutting off this vas deferens, the sperms are not conducted to the penis. So this is about the permanent birth control methods. So till this we conclude the topic, go through this topic. In the next class we'll see about the medical termination of pregnancy. Thank you.